Guys, if you want to know just how excited I get about new kit, I have just made a fat pre-workout. Basically a Nocco with a big scoop of beta alanine in there to go and put together a new piece of kit from Wolverson that they sent over. Let's go and find out what it is. Let's try not to get far too hyped building it, and then let's maybe do a little bit of a workout. Let's go!
So here we are, sports fans. New piece of kit. It's like something I've got, but better. First obvious thing, it's heavier. Big boy spanner kit. Small boy Rogue Allen key. Don't know where it came from, but it's there. Tip, if you're ever gonna cut down a box and you're not sure what's on the inside, never extend the blade all the way out. Always just the tip. Two of these. One of these with batteries. Oh, they're not tight over at Wolverson. That looks sexual. Oh, love a new screen. Lovely, lovely. Oh, that's gonna help grip. Oh, voila! It's time to make a pro. One of these. Handles. Base. We've got our paperwork. Let the build begin. One thing I actually really like on this already, it's a very simple thing, but you know when you buy something new and you're looking around going, where the bloody hell are all the bolts and the screws, and you find this random little package with them all sellotaped together. This bike has all of the mounting bits that you're going to need already on the bike, so you first of all know where they're housed, which is going to save so much time on putting stuff together, but then also as well, you haven't got to search around looking for them as well. So there's two in here, one in here for the seat, and then two in the front and back for the stabilization bits at the bottom. So I'll whack these off, and then, come. Yeah! Oh, that one's tight. Oh!
You want some? Fantastic. If you want some, I'll give it you.
They think of everything. So this has got to be fed all the way through this to get to the screen. And I just looked, and there's, I don't know if you'll be able to see, like a black cable tie. Let me just focus that in on there. But this black cable tie is just tied around the bottom and tied around the top, and I'm like, what's it holding? So essentially, tie that in like a noose knot to the cable, then feed this cable back through, and it brings the cable up without you having to think of any way of doing it. Simple things, honestly, that make your life so much easier. So you hear that rubbing? That is the last piece that we need to do. That is the chain essentially pressing against the guard as it comes around, because the chain naturally comes loose. And when it's a brand new bike, you have to gently adjust the bike tension or the chain tension over the first couple of weeks as it starts to set in. So that sound where it's rubbing, that is instantly, if you buy one of these bikes, the thing to remember is to go and check the chain tension to make sure that there's enough, that it's not slacking so much that it rubs against the guard. You can do that by looking here. So this is what the rear chain tensioners look like. You've got one each side. You shouldn't really have to do too much there. What we're going to do is pop this guard off on both sides, and then on here undo these acorn bolts. Do it exactly the same both sides. The only thing to remember is that on the other side you have the sensor, the flywheel sensor. So on this side we're just going to unscrew that, pop that out, because obviously there's going to be some movement of the wheel, and then we'll just move them up and down with these spacer bolts. As you can see, just as a little bit poor focus. So this, as we do this 10mm bolt up that drags the wheel forwards and backwards, we do exactly the same on both sides. Then check that the chain is tracking straight, making sure there's a good inch to 2 inches slack in the chain. I don't know if you can see the chain down there. We'll just do a bit of a chain test, make sure that it's slack enough, and then make sure that it's not rubbing anymore, and then we should be good to go. So we've still got a little bit of tinkering to do to make sure that chain doesn't rub at all on the guard, so a little bit more adjustment to do, which will take me about another 10 minutes. In total, 30, 45 minutes on my own, building that together. Main thing to understand now is, what are the differences between the new Assault Bike Pro and the original Assault Bike? I say the original because mine is sitting right there. I think the most noticeable, which I've alluded to a couple of times, which can sound like a negative, but it's actually a huge positive. I don't know exactly how much heavier this is, but I know that it's heavier. Probably 10, 15 kilos maybe, I might be wrong. But that, literally just going for a little spin then, it makes you feel so much more grounded. That was the most important thing. So when I got on it, I felt stable. As soon as I started to drive, it felt like all the power was coming from my body. There was no, what we call energy leakage. You know, when you like start to wobble all over the place and you're like, oh, what's going on? When the midline gets weak and that kind of stuff, with sprinting, for instance. It felt like that on the bike, where you were just, everything that you were putting into it, you were getting the feedback back. That's number one. Number two, the updated screen, which I obviously haven't had a huge play with yet, but I already have noticed something that really helps me psychologically, which is the calories count up in points, like real time. It's not just you're staring at it waiting for 1 and 2, it's 1.0, 0.01, 0.02. You can feel them constantly moving up. Gives you miles an hour, kilometers per hour. Also has things like split times and everything like that, where you can set all your different intervals up a lot more precisely if you want to. So I'm looking forward to having a little bit of a play in that sense. Otherwise, I know that there's an indoor style mud guard that you can get for it to essentially stop that fan hitting you in the face, which I will probably get as well. Otherwise, it's just a case of, like, look at it, right? Simple little upgrades whereby you've got seat housing and stalk and everything on this one. And then on my old one, it's this. So it's still a great bike, it's still sturdy enough, but they've just beefed it up a little bit, essentially, to just give everything that little bit more of a solid feel. They've completely closed off the chain housing, so again on here, this is all open and industrial, I say it. And then this one has all been cut away so you don't have to worry about it again. New arm system and everything on the front. This was more of an upright system, but it just seems to me like everything's essentially just been a little bit more supersized to make it a little bit more sturdy, a little bit more solid on the ground. And you know what? Oh, screen's flipped over. You know what, for me, I'm just excited because I love the Assault Bike and hate it all at the same time. And I'm just excited to try something new. So I know that there's like 3 different levels when it comes to the Assault Bikes. There's some that are like 12, 1300 quid. And then there's the normal Assault Bike. If you're gonna have an Assault Bike at home and you want it to be sturdy and you want it to have everything that you need and all that kind of stuff, quite minimal maintenance as well, any of these 2 options are gonna serve you very well. My personal opinion, for the extra 100 quid I think that it is, the Assault Bike Pro is probably the one to go for. It feels to me like it's gonna be pretty solid for a very long period of time. So now, it's a case of, I've got to sell that one and then start using this one, which I'm really excited for. So there we go. That is all I'm gonna do today. It was literally just to get this bike out, get it sorted. If you've got any other questions about the Assault Bikes and all the different variations and everything whatsoever, literally just drop me a message. Otherwise, I've put the link to this bike specifically in the description box if you wanna go and check it out. Do let me know if you like this kind of building kind of content and testing out different pieces of kit, because I've got a lot of it here. So I'm more than happy to give you my opinion on the stuff that I've got as well. So keep being awesome and I'll see you in the next one.